Yes, I think that's kind of natural way to go. Probably because well, I don't know if you want to call them white knights, but they seem to be disappearing a bit over the horizon. And also, there's no agenda if it's supporters that own it. Whereas you can see a pattern of people coming in from the outside buying football clubs, and then it doesn't work out, or their funding runs out, or their own original objectives are possibly changed. Whereas with supporters, it's a long-term issue with them. So it's easier actually dealing in some ways with selling to supporters because you know they don't have any kind of alternative agenda. Yes, I think it does offer more stability because, again, the agenda is supporters own it, so the supporters want the club to do well, and they certainly want it to survive. And normally supporters will do whatever they can for clubs to survive. I mean, the last few clubs I've been involved with, it's actually the supporters that have kept it alive by actually making donations. They've actually kept the cash flow going by making donations, and they've ultimately actually purchased the shares in the club. So from that point of view, you're always going to be much more confident if you have, supporters behind you. Well, I think it's really important they have a say because they're the lifeblood of the club. I know that's a bit of a cliche, but they are, because without supporters, there is really no club. So it doesn't seem to make sense. I know historically, and a lot of club supporters haven't had much, if any, say. But I think that was just a kind of old-fashioned view, and I think that's changing now. And I think it's important, even if supporters don't own and run the club, they at least have representation. Yes, I think some will. I think it's just a natural progression of things in terms of people recognising that supporters are the ones that are always there. They're the ones that actually come up with donations when the club's in trouble, and even looking forward in terms of funding and working capital as things get tighter, and then it's probably better to start to transfer ownership and let the actual supporters get on with it. Uh, and again, I think some clubs are still really struggling. So from that point of view, I think the owners, in fact, want to transfer ownership and just let the supporters run the club.